There's a reason some people rise when others fall. A reason some turn pain into power while others surrender to it. The difference is not talent, it's not luck, it's mindset. Winners aren't born, they are built. One decision, one discipline, one mindset at a time. Most people walk through life with their eyes open, but their vision closed. They see obstacles, not opportunities. They see endings, not beginnings. The average person looks at a problem and says, "This is too hard." A winner looks at the same problem and says, "This is where I grow." The difference lies not in what they see, but in how they see. Winners have trained their minds to look beyond the immediate, beyond the fear, the discomfort, and the failure, and instead to recognize potential hidden inside chaos. They understand that in every difficulty lies the seed of breakthrough, that while the world complains about what's wrong, there's power in asking, "What can I do right now to make it better?" Winners see patterns that others ignore. They notice opportunities hidden behind rejection, lessons disguised as losses, and strength buried inside struggle. When others focus on what they lack, winners focus on what they can create. Their vision is not blurred by doubt or fear, it's sharpened by purpose. They've learned that perception is the first step to progress. The mind becomes what it constantly sees, so they choose to see possibility. Even in the darkest moments, when doors close, they don't stand there knocking forever. They start building a new door. That's the mindset that separates dreamers from doors, vision from victimhood. To a winner, failure is not a stop sign. It's information. They look at failure and ask, "What is this teaching me? Where can I adjust?" That's why winners rarely stay defeated, because they refuse to view setbacks as the end of the road. They see them as directions, redirections, course corrections that lead toward a better version of their dream. The truth is, the road to success is littered with distractions, rejections, and detours. Most people stop when the map changes. Winners rewrite the map. They don't panic when life shifts. They adapt, they evolve, they refocus. They have the clarity to see that every detour still leads forward. If your eyes stay open long enough to notice the signs. A winner's vision is fueled by belief. They see possibility because they believe it's there. That belief gives them courage to start, faith to continue, and strength to endure. Where others say, "It's impossible," winners whisper, "Maybe not yet." That quiet belief becomes their compass. It's what allows them to take the first step. When the path is uncertain, to invest effort when there's no guarantee, to keep building when no one else sees the foundation forming. Their sight is guided by inner conviction, not external validation. They don't need the world to believe in them first. They see their future long before it manifests, and that vision keeps them moving, even when everything around them screams, "Give up." Winners also see potential in people. They understand that leadership is not about commanding, but about seeing greatness in others before they see it themselves. They look beyond flaws, beyond fear, and find the spark waiting to be ignited. This is what makes them magnetic. They bring out the best in those around them because they recognize that everyone carries untapped potential. While others judge by what is visible, winners are inspired by what's possible. They lift others by showing them what they can become, not by reminding them of what they are not. True winners multiply vision, they don't hoard it. And most importantly, winners see time differently. They don't waste it waiting for motivation or the right moment. They understand that the right time is the moment you decide to act. They see every second as currency, something to be invested, not spent. To them, a day without growth is a day lost. They know that every small action compounds into something greater, and every delay costs them a piece of their dream. So, they move with urgency, focus, and clarity. They see that the window of opportunity is always open for those bold enough to climb through it. While others are waiting for signs, winners are creating them. Because in the end, the vision to see what others don't, and the courage to act on it, is what truly defines a winner's mindset. Winners understand one powerful truth: responsibility is freedom. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, your choices, your habits, your outcomes, you take back control. Most people spend years blaming circumstances, luck, or other people for where they are. They say things like, if only I had the resources, or if only life was fair. But winners know that waiting for life to be fair is a waste of time. They stop pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror, because that's where real change begins. The mindset of a winner says, if I created this mess, I can clean it up. If I caused the problem, I can fix it. And if it's in my hands, it's in my power. That belief is not just empowering, it's transformational. Excuses are the comfort zone of the weak. They sound intelligent, they sound justified, but in the end, they only protect mediocrity. Winners refuse to use them because excuses steal accountability, and accountability is the birthplace of growth. They don't say, I don't have time. They say, I didn't make time. They don't say, it's not my fault. They say, it's still my responsibility. That shift in language creates a shift in mindset. From victim to victor, from helpless to powerful. It's easy to complain about circumstances, but it takes strength to take charge. Winners understand that the more you explain why you can't, the less energy you have to figure out how you can. Taking responsibility also means owning your failures without shame. Winners don't hide from their mistakes. They analyze them. They ask, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? Instead of running from failure, they run toward feedback, because they know that every setback carries a message. And if you ignore it, you'll keep repeating the same lesson until you learn it. When others get defensive, Winners get curious. They aren't afraid to be wrong because they know being wrong is part of becoming right. This humility to admit fault and the courage to grow from it is what builds strength of character. The average person wants to look right. The winner wants to be better. Winners also understand that responsibility extends beyond themselves. It's not just about personal success. It's about how their actions impact others. They take ownership of their words, their promises, and their influence. When they commit to something, they follow through even when no one is watching. This integrity is what earns them trust and respect. They know that leadership isn't about authority. It's about accountability. People follow those who stand firm in responsibility, not those who shift blame when things go wrong. Winners build credibility because they take the weight of their words seriously. When they say they'll do something, the world knows they mean it. The truth is, taking responsibility is not comfortable. It exposes your weaknesses, it challenges your ego, and it forces you to confront your own limitations. That's why so few people do it. But winners thrive in discomfort because they know that's where real growth begins. They understand that life doesn't owe them success. It offers them opportunities, and it's their job to rise and meet them. Every failure becomes a lesson, every setback a stepping stone, every challenge a chance to rise. The moment you stop blaming others, you stop waiting for rescue and start building your own rescue plan. That's what separates those who wish for success from those who earn it. And finally, winners see responsibility as power, not pressure. When they take responsibility, they're not burdened by it, they're fueled by it. Because the moment you say, I am responsible, you reclaim authorship of your life's story. You stop being a passenger and become the driver. You no longer drift through life reacting. You start directing. Winners wake up every morning knowing that their future depends on their choices today. They don't hand that power to anyone else. Not the economy, not society, not circumstance. They write their own narrative, one decision at a time. That's why when things go wrong, they don't look around for someone to blame. They look within, they rise, and they rebuild. Because that's what winners do. Winners understand that emotions are powerful, but only when they are mastered, not when they are allowed to rule. Every person feels anger, fear, doubt, jealousy, and frustration. What separates the great from the ordinary is how they respond to those emotions. Most people react instantly. They speak before thinking, quit before analyzing, and lash out before understanding. Winners do the opposite. They pause, they breathe, and they choose their reaction with intention. They know that self-control is not about suppressing emotions, but about steering them toward purpose. Their calm under pressure doesn't mean they don't feel. It means they've trained themselves to stay centered even when chaos surrounds them. This control gives them clarity, and clarity is power. Emotional mastery begins with awareness. You can't control what you don't understand. Winners spend time observing their own emotions, studying what triggers them, what drains them, and what strengthens them. When anger rises, they don't deny it, they decode it. When fear shows up, they ask what it's trying to protect them from. That awareness allows them to act with wisdom instead of impulse. They understand that emotions are data, signals, not dictators. They use those signals to make better decisions because every emotion, when understood, becomes a tool. Anger can fuel determination. Fear can sharpen focus. Sadness can deepen empathy. Winners don't let emotions paralyze them. They let them guide them. Many people believe strength means not feeling, but winners know true strength lies in feeling deeply and still staying in control. They understand that life will constantly test their patience, humility, and peace. They will be criticized, misunderstood, and doubted. But winners don't allow those external forces to dictate their internal state. They remain grounded in their vision. When people try to provoke them, they respond with silence. When life throws chaos their way, they respond with composure. This isn't coldness, it's discipline. Because winners have learned that reacting emotionally gives power away, while responding intentionally reclaims it. They refuse to let temporary emotions destroy permanent goals. Mastering emotions also means mastering ego. Ego wants to win arguments. The mind wants to win in life. Ego reacts to being disrespected. Wisdom stays focused on the bigger picture. Winners choose the bigger picture. They've learned that revenge, pride, or proving others wrong are distractions from real success. They don't waste energy trying to control people or situations. They control themselves. That self-command makes them untouchable. While others spiral from criticism or failure, winners stay steady, using that same energy to refine their craft. Their emotional balance becomes their superpower. The less they are shaken by what others say or do, the faster they move toward their purpose. Winners also understand that emotional mastery builds resilience. Life will hit hard, losses, betrayals, disappointments, and failures are inevitable. But those who've mastered their emotions bounce back faster. They don't deny the pain, they feel it, process it, and then rise with more wisdom than before. They understand that emotions are temporary, but decisions made in emotional chaos can have permanent consequences. That's why they never let feelings dictate their future. Winners train their minds to remain steady even when the heart is heavy. That balance between strength and vulnerability allows them to keep moving forward when others stop to complain or crumble. Above all, winners use emotions as fuel for excellence. They channel passion into productivity, pain into purpose, and frustration into focus. They've learned that emotions, when directed, can become a source of unstoppable energy. When they feel angry, they train harder. When they feel fear, they prepare more. When they feel doubt, they work smarter. Every emotion becomes an ally, not an enemy. This ability to convert emotional energy into forward momentum is what keeps them unshaken while the world wavers. Because winners don't waste time fighting how they feel, they transform what they feel into power, and that power propels them to greatness. Winners know that true success doesn't come overnight. It's built over time, slowly, quietly, through years of effort that most people never see. They understand that greatness is not an event, it's a process. While the world is obsessed with instant results and quick rewards, winners are obsessed with progress. They think long term. They know that real achievement demands patience, persistence, and an unshakable belief that consistent effort will eventually bear fruit. Most people give up too soon because they confuse slow progress with failure. Winners don't. They trust the process even when results are invisible. They know that every small step, every late night, every repetition is a brick in the foundation of their destiny. Playing the long game means resisting the temptation of shortcuts. In a world that glorifies speed, winners value sustainability. They know that what is gained fast often fades faster. The one-hit wonders, the overnight successes, they burn bright but briefly. Winners aim for longevity. They are willing to put in years of unseen work to build something that lasts. They focus on mastering the fundamentals, perfecting their craft, and building habits that compound over time. They understand that growth is not linear. It's messy, unpredictable, and often uncomfortable. But that discomfort is what separates the committed from the casual. Winners are willing to be patient when others demand immediacy because they know the long game rewards those who endure. Winners also understand that the long game requires vision, a clear sense of purpose that guides every action. Without vision, patience feels like suffering. With vision, patience becomes power. Winners can endure the waiting, the setbacks, and the silence because they know why they are doing it. Their why fuels their resilience. When the world doubts them, when results seem far away, when motivation fades, their vision pulls them forward. They aren't moved by trends or external approval. They are anchored by their purpose. And that purpose gives them the strength to keep showing up day after day, even when no one is watching. Another secret of the long game is consistency. Winners understand that doing small things consistently beats doing big things occasionally. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. They show up on the days they feel inspired and on the days they don't. They understand that progress is built through routine, not random bursts of effort. Each repetition, each disciplined choice compounds over time. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. They treat every day as an investment, knowing that what they do today shapes who they become tomorrow. While others chase excitement, winners chase excellence. And excellence requires consistency, not convenience. Playing the long game also means embracing setbacks as part of the journey. Winners don't see failure as the end, they see it as feedback. They know that the road to mastery is paved with mistakes, and each one is an opportunity to refine, adjust, and grow. They don't measure success by how fast they arrive, but by how well they evolve. They understand that patience isn't passive, it's active endurance. It's choosing to persist even when progress feels invisible. They keep learning, adapting, and improving, trusting that time will eventually reveal the value of their persistence. This mindset makes them unstoppable because they don't crumble under delay, they strengthen through it. Winners also understand that the long game isn't just about achieving success, it's about becoming someone capable of maintaining it. Many people can win once, few can stay on top. That's why winners focus on character as much as achievement. They build habits, resilience, and mental toughness that sustain them through seasons of struggle and success alike. They know that when the excitement fades, discipline must take over. The long game demands patience, perspective, and perseverance, qualities that can't be bought or faked. Winners play for legacy, not likes, for fulfillment, not fame. They are willing to sacrifice immediate comfort for long-term impact because they understand that what truly lasts is never built in a moment, it's built over a lifetime. Winners understand that energy is contagious, and the people you spend your time with shape the person you become. They know that greatness is not built in isolation, but through association. Every conversation, every friendship, every environment either fuels your growth or drains it. That's why winners are deliberate about who they allow into their circle. They surround themselves with people who challenge them, inspire them, and hold them accountable. They don't want comfort, they want fire, that burning energy that pushes them to rise higher. They seek out individuals who dream bigger, think deeper, and work harder because they understand that proximity to excellence breeds excellence. Most people settle for relationships that feel easy, but winners understand that comfort rarely leads to growth. They don't want to be the smartest or strongest in the room. They want to be around those who raise the standard. They crave the company of people who question them, who push back, who refuse to let them stay average. Because every time you're around someone who challenges your limits expand. Winners are not afraid of feeling small in great company because they know that humility in the presence of greatness is the price of transformation. They trade ego for elevation. Instead of being intimidated by other people's success, they study it, learn from it, and let it ignite their own fire. Winners also know when to walk away. They understand that not everyone can handle their ambition, and not everyone deserves access to their energy. They guard their focus like it's sacred, because it is. They distance themselves from negativity, gossip, and complacency, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. They know that toxic energy spreads faster than motivation. One negative voice can silence 10 dreams. So they choose silence over chaos, solitude over shallow company, and peace over popularity. Winners don't chase crowds, they build tribes, small, focused, passionate groups that share a common hunger for growth. Their circle is not built on convenience, but on conviction. Being surrounded by fire also means being willing to face the heat. Winners invite accountability. They want people who call them out when they slack, who remind them of their standards when they start to drift. They don't see correction as criticism, they see it as care. Iron sharpens iron, and winners understand that true friendship sometimes burns before it builds. They don't want cheerleaders who flatter them. They want allies who tell them the truth. Because in the end, the people who love you most are the ones who refuse to let you settle for less than your potential. Winners seek those relationships intentionally because they know accountability is not restriction, it's reinforcement. The company of winners fuels not only your ambition but also your mindset. When you're surrounded by people who speak vision, you start to think differently. You start dreaming bigger, talking bolder, acting faster. Their energy becomes your energy. Their habits influence your habits. Their drive awakens your own. That's why winners are protective of their inner circle because every conversation is either an investment or a withdrawal. They spend time with those who make them want to level up, who remind them that average is not an option, and who celebrate growth as much as success. Being around driven people makes discipline feel normal and hard work feel natural. And finally, winners surround themselves with fire because they understand that purpose burns brighter in community. Passion grows when it's shared. You can be motivated alone, but you become unstoppable when you're aligned with others who burn with the same vision. Winners build teams, partnerships, and friendships that amplify their strengths and complement their weaknesses. They don't compete with their circle, they collaborate with it. Every person brings a spark, and together they create a flame that cannot be extinguished. This fire doesn't just inspire them to win, it reminds them why they started. Because when your circle burns with passion, persistence, and purpose, your journey stops being lonely and starts being legendary. Winners know that pain is not the enemy, it's the raw material of strength. Every person encounters pain, disappointment, loss, betrayal, failure, heartbreak. Most people run from it, numb it, or try to forget it. But winners face it head on. They understand that pain has a purpose, that every struggle carries within it a lesson, a seed of transformation. They refuse to let suffering define them. Instead, they let it refine them. Where others see pain as punishment, winners see it as preparation. They use it as fuel, as motivation, as proof that they are still alive, still fighting, still capable of more. Pain to a winner is not something to escape. It's something to embrace and evolve through. When winners experience pain, they don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift in perspective turns victims into victors. Pain becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. Every heartbreak teaches empathy. Every loss teaches gratitude. Every failure teaches resilience. Winners extract meaning from suffering because they know that the moment you give pain a purpose, it loses its power to destroy you. They understand that you cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond to it. And that response, that choice to rise instead of retreat, becomes the foundation of strength. Winners turn wounds into wisdom and scars into stories that inspire others to keep going. The process of transforming pain into power is not easy. It demands emotional honesty, the courage to face what hurts instead of hiding from it. Winners sit with their pain long enough to understand it. They don't pretend to be unbreakable. They simply refuse to stay broken. They cry if they must. They bleed if they must. But they never stop moving forward because deep down they know that pain is temporary, but quitting is permanent. They see every challenge as an invitation to grow stronger. When the world says, "You can't handle this," winners whisper, "Watch me." They let their struggle forge a strength that comfort could never create. Pain also gives winners perspective. It humbles them, grounds them, and reminds them of what truly matters. It strips away arrogance, teaches patience, and deepens gratitude. Without pain, success feels shallow. With pain, every victory feels sacred. Winners know that without darkness, you can't appreciate light. Without failure, you can't value success. The pain they've endured becomes the compass that guides their compassion. It allows them to connect deeply with others, to lead with empathy, and to lift others who are still fighting their battles. Because once you've walked through the fire and survived, you understand how to help others find their way out too. Winners also transform pain into purpose. They don't just heal for themselves. They use their journey to inspire others. They take their experiences and turn them into messages of hope, leadership, and strength. They know that their scars are not signs of weakness, but symbols of victory. What once broke them now becomes the reason someone else doesn't give up. That's the beauty of pains. When it's transformed, it multiplies its power. One person's breakthrough becomes another person's belief. Winners understand that purpose doesn't come from comfort. It's born from surviving what was meant to destroy you. Finally, winners understand that pain, when properly channeled, becomes the greatest source of motivation. The memory of what they endured pushes them to never go back, to keep evolving, to rise higher. They train harder, work longer, and dream bigger because they felt what it's like to be at rock bottom. The fire that once burned them now fuels them. It becomes the energy that drives them toward excellence. They learn to thank their pain because it introduced them to their power. And through every trial, every scar, every sleepless night, They prove that pain is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of transformation. Winners carry their pain not as a burden, but as armor, a constant reminder that nothing, no struggle, no setback, no suffering can stop someone who has learned how to turn pain into power. Winners understand that growth is a lifelong journey, not a final destination. They know that the moment you stop learning, you start stagnating. Success is not a finish line, it's a continuous process of evolution. While many people settle for comfort, winners are relentless in their pursuit of improvement. They read, study, observe, and experiment every single day. They ask questions, challenge assumptions, and refuse to accept that what they know today is enough for tomorrow. Their mindset is not about proving how smart they are. It's about expanding how capable they can become. Growth, for them, is non-negotiable. Winners embrace discomfort because they know that growth rarely happens within the boundaries of ease. They seek challenges that stretch their skills, push their limits, and force them to adapt. While most people avoid failure, winners pursue opportunities that might initially feel intimidating. They understand that each struggle carries a lesson, and each lesson brings mastery. Growth requires effort, persistence, and courage, and winners welcome all three. They don't shy away from risk. They calculate it, step into it, and let the experience transform them. The discomfort that scares most people excites winners because it signals that they are on the path to becoming more than they were yesterday. Continuous growth also demands humility. Winners know that no matter how much they achieve, there is always more to learn. They are not defined by past accomplishments, but by future potential. They listen more than they speak. They observe more than they judge. And they remain open to new ideas, perspectives, and feedback. They understand that pride and ego are the enemies of growth. The moment you believe you have arrived, you stop evolving. Winners never stop asking, how can I be better? What can I learn? Who can I learn from? That mindset keeps them ahead, adaptable, and perpetually evolving in a world that is constantly changing. Winners also invest in their mental, emotional, and physical growth. They know that success is holistic. It requires the mind, body, and spirit to be strong and resilient. They read books, take courses, seek mentors, and surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking. They meditate, exercise, and cultivate habits that enhance clarity, focus, and energy. They understand that growth is not just about accumulating knowledge, but also about developing wisdom, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen themselves from the inside out, ensuring that they are equipped for the challenges ahead. Another hallmark of winners is their curiosity. They approach life with a learner's mindset, always asking questions, exploring new ideas, and experimenting with different approaches. They don't fear mistakes, they analyze them. They don't fear failure, they extract lessons from it. Growth for winners is not a task, it's a lifestyle. They understand that every interaction, every experience, every setback, and every victory carries a lesson if you are willing to see it. That insatiable curiosity allows them to innovate, adapt, and continuously elevate their personal and professional life. They treat life as an ongoing classroom and themselves as lifelong students. Finally, winners recognize that growth is a gift that compounds over time. Small, consistent improvements add up to extraordinary results. They don't seek overnight transformation, they embrace incremental progress. Every skill learned, every habit developed, and every insight gained builds momentum for the next level. They are patient with the process, but relentless in pursuit of it. Winners never measure their potential by who they were yesterday, but by who they can become tomorrow. They understand that life is infinite in its opportunities, and as long as they are willing to grow, they will never run out of horizons to conquer, lessons to learn, or heights to achieve. The mindset of winners is not a gift, it's a choice. A choice to believe when no one else does, a choice to keep going when everything says stop, a choice to become unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. So today, make that choice. Think like a winner, act like a winner, live like a winner. Because once your mindset changes, your entire life will follow.